Hello everyone, greetings. Welcome back to BUD403, Profiles of Buddhist Leadership course in the spring 2020, conducted by the International University of the East, Home Meditation Center, Los Angeles. So today, in the second week of our course, Profiles of Buddhist Leadership, we will cover up all these topics as we discussed last week. So today we will specially discuss on Buddha as a great leader, and in the following weeks we have the other topics as we mentioned, as you can see in the screen. And I also want to discuss start of today's lesson with the assignment for this week. Please watch this video. It's a beautiful cartoon movie, Life of the Buddha. I personally enjoyed it very much. I watched it several times, and it's really nice, and it will take you to your childhood days. Please watch this movie and just email me a reflection paper on this 1 to 2 pages, and make sure to list all the main incidents and characters who are closer to Buddha's life. And also I want you to focus on some of those characteristics of the Buddha that impress you the most. Okay, and remember, this also will be your attendance for the week. So you need to, you're required to send me a reflection paper. Okay, alright. So today's topic is Buddha as a great leader. Life of the Buddha. And we will discuss several leadership qualities of the Buddha: his dedication, um, and his role model, and then focus and practice and universal teachings of the Buddha. And here, under the life of the Buddha, we'll have a short account of the life of the Buddha, and then his enormous dedication, his sacrifice and discipline as a great leader. We will discuss about these things. And then his exemplary lifestyle as a great role model. We will discuss about that. And then focus and practice, his main objectives in leading his community from all directions. And then universal teachings. We will shortly discuss some of these teachings according to the time frame we have. Four sublime states, freedom of thought, theory of karma, four noble truths, dependent origination, and no soul theory. Of course, we'll have some time for us to discuss these things in detail. Okay, so these are some of the movies that I recommend you watch. The first one is the cartoon movie, as I said, and there is a beautiful, fascinating teledrama series called Buddha. Okay, just Buddha, no the Buddha, just Buddha. Okay, and it's a really nice one. But that's a mega movie series. I hope as you are quarantined these days, it's a good way to spend your time pass, and just watch this if you have time. And then there is another historic documentary about the birthplace of the Buddha, Lumbini, and then also Buddha as a historic man. I think I recommend you watch these movies. These are very important when we consider the life of the Buddha. So, Buddha's birth happened in Lumbini Garden, what we call Nepal in present day. It is still Lumbini, and his mother is Mahamaya, Queen Mahamaya. His father is King Suddhodana, and he was born in Kapilavastu. His clan Shakya kingdom. So, according to this story, Queen Mahamaya, she was on her way to her parents' house, and then on the way, um, she had a labor pain, and then she went to a nearby beautiful park called Lumbini Park, and all her servants, everyone, maids, they were all there, and it is said like with some miraculous incidents, the amazing birth of the Buddha took place. And there are many stories related to this, how um, she had a beautiful dream of a white elephant coming up with a lotus, and then when she was sleeping, and then she had a dream, and the white elephant went around her, and then entered her womb. And also it is said that all the four guardian angels, they took her to the heaven, and she was bathed, and then she was taken back. So this is a dream that she watched, and then there were predictions about a possible pregnancy by the um, astrologers those days, and the king was really really happy to be a father. So King Suddhodana and Queen Mahamaya are very important characters here. And it is said when Prince Siddhartha was born, he he actually could walk, and the Mother Earth welcomed him with some lotus flowers. He walked 7 steps, and at the end of the 7th step, and he uttered an utterance. Aggo hamasmi lokasa, jitho hamasmi lokasa, siddho hamasmi lokasa, ayavanti majati nathitani punabhavo. This utterance is in Pali, meaning I am the chief in the world. I am supreme. There is no equal to me. This is my last birth. There is no rebirth for me. So, this is a legendary story that we have regarding the birth of the Buddha. And then Siddhartha had a very wonderful teacher called Asita or Kaladevala, and as Siddhartha was a royal prince, he had to learn about the horse ridings, and then all those archery, and how to do the sword fightings and all this stuff, like for a king to learn. So he was trained under his teacher. He was a very smart kid. And his marriage took place when he was 16, and his wife was beautiful Princess Yasodhara, and it is said that king was very happy. Father arranged everything to make sure that everyone in the country is happy, and he himself was very happy because this guy, Prince Siddhartha, is going to be the next in line. So with the prince Yasodhara, with so much decorations, so much celebrations, they got married, and he also built 3 palaces to make sure that Prince Siddhartha would live a very happy and lavish lifestyle. I want to also discuss about, tell you a little bit about the background, why he was so enthusiastic about giving all kinds of these lavish lifestyles. Because at the birth, the astrologers, those wise men, they predicted that some of them predicted that Prince Siddhartha would become either if he stays as a layperson, he would become a universal monarch, a very powerful king who would rule all over the world. Just in case he leaves home, just in case he becomes a practitioner or a spiritual man, there is a chance that he would become a Buddha. Okay, so these were the two predictions. Most of the wise men predicted that time, and there was one man called Kondanya. He said Siddhartha would definitely become a Buddha. So the um, king was like little worried, little concerned, but he was pretty happy that his most of the wise men predicted that he would become a universal monarch if he stays at home. So he wanted to make sure that Prince is overwhelmed with all those sensuous, luxurious, lavish lifestyle. So he built 3 palaces for him to um, spend his life in different um, seasons. King also wanted to make sure that the kingdom, Kapilavatthu city, um, is um, not occupied by any of the beggars or the old people, and everyone in the city would look pleasant, and all the good people only would be allowed, and no sick people, no old people were allowed. Like all the nice, pleasant looking, everything in the surroundings were all good. So king wanted to make sure that prince will not be carried away by those um, inauspicious or um, pessimistic side of life when he sees those elderly people or sick people. But somehow, one day, when he was on his way, Prince was on his way to the royal park with his charioteer. So remember, this man is his charioteer. This is Prince Siddhartha, and okay, um, this guy is called Channa, and this is his horse. The horse name was Kanthaka. Okay, Kanthaka was the horse name, and Channa was the charioteer. And one day, when they were walking towards the royal park, they saw an old man. And Prince Siddhartha has never seen an old man. He had never seen an old man before, so he was very disturbed. And he asked um, Channa, who's this? Why is he looking so different? And Channa said, this is an old man. Then Prince Siddhartha was very curious. He was very inquisitive. He asked so many questions about him, and then Channa had to say, everyone becomes old. Everyone can be old, including um, Prince Siddhartha and his wife, and everyone in the family, all the near and dear ones, everyone would become old. So Prince Siddhartha was very upset about that. And then what happened? Like back to the um, he went back to the palace. He didn't want to go to the royal park. And then the other day when he went, he saw a sick man. Then again, Prince Siddhartha was little more perturbed by seeing the sick man. And looks like this is an old man, this is a sick man, right? Okay, we would consider that way. So this guy is this is an old man, this is a sick man. So uh, whatever. So when he saw the sick man, he asked um, Channa, his charioteer. Channa became his actually philosopher, his initial moral teacher, in fact. And Channa explained to him. He asked. He was very smart guy. Uh, Prince Siddhartha asked so many questions about life, and Channa had to explain. Although he was not willing to do so, but he had to explain these things. When Prince Siddhartha asked, why does it happen? Does everyone become subject to sickness? And do I become sick? My wife will she become sick? And will my father and everyone in my family, everyone in my country, will they also be sick? And then Channa said, yes, you can control any of these things. Alright, so let's go back to the palace. He was now happy, he was sad, heartbroken, went back to palace. And then the other day when he came, now he was going again to the royal park, and then he saw a corpse. Some people were carrying a dead body, and then Prince Siddhartha was asking, what is that? Why is that body is covered, and why is it being carried away by people? What happened to that person? And then Channa, reluctantly though, he also explained, that is a dead body. What is a dead body? Everyone dies. No one in the world can escape death. Everyone in the world is subject to death. We don't know when, where, how it happens, but when it happens, you will be snatched away. Your life will be gone. You can't breathe anymore. You have to die. You have to leave all your near and dear ones. Prince Siddhartha was so super heartbroken, very sad, very upset, went back to his palace. He was worried, he was all the way haunted by uh, the three scenes already. These were called four signs. So those three signs were very, very disturbing to him. He couldn't sleep in the night. He had very troublesome days and nights because of that. And then another day, he went to the royal park, and that time he saw a meditation practitioner. When he saw that man, a very peaceful person, sitting under a tree, very simple lifestyle, and also his face and his gestures were very calm, very soothing, relaxing, peaceful man. And then Prince Siddhartha was very happy about that because he was already troubled by the previous scenes, and today he was a pretty happy man. And then he asked Channa about that guy too, and then Channa again had to describe that this is an ascetic, he is a practitioner, he is trying to see the truth of life, and stuff like that. Then Prince Siddhartha said, okay, let's go back to the palace. And now by the time he came to the palace, and he already decided that um, he wanted to become an ascetic, and he wanted to find the truth behind the life and all the mysteries of the life. He wanted to solve, he wanted to find some truth, and he wanted to see if he could find um, a solution to death. You know, can he find a solution uh, so that he can lead everyone not to get old, not to get sick, and not to die. And maybe he thought, why not? He would become an ascetic and then find a better solution so that his beautiful wife and recently born child, his name is Rahula, and his father and everyone in the family, in the country, everyone can be led to eternal immortality and eternal happiness. Otherwise, they would, if they live like this, they would be sick, they would get old, and one day, whether they like it or not, they would die. So, um, Prince Siddhartha decided to renounce the world. So, this renunciation is a very, very important juncture of Prince Siddhartha's life. He stealthily ran away at the age of 20 with Channa and Kantaka horse. And that time he already decided um, to undergo severe penances. He had 6 years of extreme penances. He reduced his food, he practiced, he met so many powerful spiritual masters. He learned from them yoga, he learned from many teachings of those people. And then he followed them. He learned those techniques, but he was not happy. He didn't see his goal. His goal was to find an everlasting solution to death, to old age and sickness. He wanted to find a solution for that. So none of those teachers, spiritual masters, although he worked really hard and he followed all the instructions by those masters, and he actually achieved um, according to the expectations of those masters, but he was unhappy because that's not what he wanted. And remember Kondanya, the one who predicted that one day Prince Siddhartha would become a Buddha? He was there along with some friends, Vappa, Bhaddiya, Mahanama, and Assaji. These people were there to take care of ascetic Siddhartha. Now he is ascetic Siddhartha. And one day, ascetic Siddhartha already found that all these penances, all these difficult lifestyle would not help him to achieve his goal, spiritual goal, and therefore he followed the middle path, his own path, not extreme penances, not extreme lavish lifestyle, but middle path, and that way he could really find better solution to his spiritual dilemma. And then um, he was practicing under a banyan tree, and then there was one lady called Sujata, and Sujata's name is also very important because Sujata offered him the food for him to survive for 49 days. It is said that after receiving this milk rice offering from Sujata, um, ascetic Siddhartha or ascetic Gautama did not want to have food. He wanted to practice, and then he kept practicing until he achieved the Buddhahood. So he attained the Buddhahood. So Sujata is the one who offered him the first food before his enlightenment, or the last food before his enlightenment. And also it is said like there were like three forms of desires and attachment. It is said like allegorically, symbolically, they were like beautiful ladies, three daughters of the Mara. Mara is the the bad guy, the evil guy, who could lead people to do all the wrong things in life, in the world. They are all symbolic, and this is a replication of um, our own mentality, the darker side of our life. And ascetic Gautama, ascetic Siddhartha, when he was meditating, he had to encounter those powerful, strong emotions, and very difficult situation was there when he was encountered by Tanha, Rati, Raga or Raga. These are different forms of desire and attachment. Three forms of desire and attachment. They were disturbing him all the time when he was meditating, and somehow he could overcome all of them. And then he had a he had a fight with a large number of Mara's army. So this is a complete internal battle, meaning he was fighting while meditating with closed eyes. He was having an internal warfare with the Mara, all the defilements, all the kilesas inside him. And so finally he could see the right path, and he could fight against all these defilements, and then he could eradicate all those defilements. And finally, on one beautiful Vesak full moon day, uh, 544 BC, at the age of 35, at Buddha Gaya or Bodh Gaya in present day state of the heart, he became enlightened. And this enlightenment is another very important factor. If you remember, Prince Siddhartha was born under a tree, and he also achieved his enlightenment under a tree. And later you will find that he passed away also under a tree. So he was pretty much a man of nature. He was pretty much living most of his life in the nature, natural wilderness. He was enjoying that beautiful nature all the time. Okay, so this again the five disciples, as I said, Kondanya, Vapa, Bhadya, Mahanama, Asaji. So what happened? They were actually leaving ascetic Siddhartha when they found that ascetic Siddhartha was leaving penances, because those days most of the ascetic practitioners, they were strongly believing that by undergoing penances, intense suffering, they could find liberation. They could see the enlightenment. They could achieve the enlightenment. So some of them would have immersed in the water, thinking that by staying there for hours and days and weeks, they would be able to wash away all the defilement. This is really a fascinating thing. It's like it would look like a stupid thing for today, but those days, those wonderful practitioners, they had no other clue. They were trying their best to find what is to be done to cleanse the mind. So they tried, and even they tried, um, try to burn their defilements. Like they thought by staying amidst some firewood, like you can see here. So they would meditate with those firewoods all around them, and so they thought that intense heat would burn away all the defilement. They tried, some would stand on one leg, and they did so many things, trying to figure out a way out of this intense suffering in the life. And so finally, Buddha found a middle path, and 5 disciples decided to go away. But after Buddha's achievement of enlightenment, he went back to them, and then he preached them the Dhamma. He taught them the Dhamma, and he showed them the path, because he also realized it's important for him to show the right path to those people. And those 5 disciples, although they went away, they were just about to blossom in spiritual life. So the Buddha, when he showed the right path, and when he showed the doctrine, they were very happy about that. So the first sutta was called Dhamma Cakkappavattana Sutta. Dhamma Cakkappavattana Sutta. And in this is a Pali word, Dharma Chakra Pravartana Sutta. Dhamma is law, Chakra is wheel, and discourse is the sutta or sutra. And Dharma Chakra Pravartana Sutta, discourse on the wheel of law. This was preached in Isipatana, where there were a lot of hermits. They were practicing, and they kind of had powerful spiritual attainments those days. That Isipatana Migadaya or Deer Park is very famous. Even today we have Isipatana Migadaya in Varanasi, Sarnath. Um, I have been there. It's a beautiful place, and lots and lots of Buddhist people go there. And um, there are some beautiful historic monuments, um, later built by King Ashoka and other people. So this place, where first sermon of the Buddha took place, is important. And then these chief disciples of the Buddha also is important. First disciple is Sariputta, son of Sari, and his previous name was Upatissa, and he was foremost among the wise bhikkhus. And later we will try to see if we hopefully we could explore more about Venerable Sariputta and Venerable Moggallana. They are very, very important monks. You can see the one with a different color is Venerable Moggallana or Maudgalyana. His previous name was Kolita. They were really, really wonderful friends. They um, they were born and brought up, and they had a lot of things together. They shared many things together, and even the spiritual life they shared together, and they worked together in the samsara, and finally they liberated together. Such wonderful friends. And then Venerable Moggallana is foremost among the bhikkhus with supernatural powers. He had really very, very amazing mystic powers, supernatural powers, that he could walk on the water just like we walk on the earth. He could immerse in the earth just like we immerse in the water, and he could go across the the walls, and he could touch many things, could do many mystic things, very powerful supernatural things he could do um, according to his meditational achievements. So, and these two people are very important. And Venerable Sariputta's contribution to Buddhism also is very highly regarded. He is very wise. He also could preach and explain the Buddha's teaching very nicely. Sometimes when the Buddha was sick, he would ask Venerable Sariputta to continue. When the Buddha was like a little bit tired or something, he would ask Venerable Sariputta to continue. Sariputta was an amazing man. He could explain, and the audience was very happy about his caliber. And the other monk over here is Venerable Ananda. He's Buddha's personal attendant and also Buddha's cousin, in fact. He was a very dedicated monk. He would take ultimate care of the Buddha. It is said every night he would go around the Buddha's bedroom. He would have a lamp on his palm and he would walk around to make sure everything is good. And he also um, goes everywhere with the Buddha, and he also made sure that everything is safe. He would do his best as a passionate attendant and a follower of his master. And Venerable Ananda had an amazing talent that he could remember things very fast. Like if the Buddha said one thing, one sutta, Venerable Ananda could remember it right away. He had a super memory. So this Venerable Ananda is a very, very important character. And then one day Buddha was invited to visit his kingdom, his former family. He was invited to come, and then Buddha came along with all the powerful monks to Kapilavatthu. And you can see here Princess Yasodhara and Rahula. And Princess Yasodhara asked Rahula to go and see his father and ask for some gifts, some heritage. And actually, he ordained Prince Rahula, and later Princess Yasodhara also became a bhikkhuni, a female nun. And it started with bhikkhuni ordination. Mahapajapati Gotami is the Siddhartha's stepmother, because Queen Mahamaya passed away after 7 days of his birth, and ever since she passed away, Queen Mahamaya's sister, younger sister, Mahapajapati Gotami, was the one who would take care of Prince Siddhartha. And when the Buddha achieved enlightenment, and when he started his Sangha community, at the beginning there were only male monks, and later on Mahapajapati Gotami, she along with 500 women requested to ordain the women as well, so that they could also achieve liberation. There were some initial hiccups, and Venerable Ananda is here. He also supported them. So finally, under some guidance, under some strict instructions, women were allowed to enter the order. So right now, bhikkhus and bhikkhunis and upasakas is the lay disciples, lay male disciples. Upasika are the lay female disciples. So they are called four groups, four different kinds of groups that were in the Buddha's order. There is one king called Bimbisara of Magadha. He was a very powerful king, and a good friend of King Suddhodana. And King Bimbisara also knew about the Siddhartha. He was a good friend of Siddhartha too, and eventually when he realized that Siddhartha became a monk, and he was very upset. Actually, he wanted to share his kingdom with Prince Siddhartha instead of going away from lay life, but Prince Siddhartha refused. He wanted to go ahead and achieve his own goal, spiritual goal, and then King Bimbisara invited him. If you become a Buddha, please come here. I would like to offer you a temple. And he offered a temple called Velu Vanarama. Velu means bamboo. Arama is a temple. So Velu Vana is the grove. So Velu Vanarama is the temple that was offered by King Bimbisara. And remember, later on you will find his son, King Bimbisara's son was called Devadatta. He is an important character too. And King Kosala and Queen Mallika, Anathapindika, they are all very, very, very close lay devotees of the Buddha. So, because Prince Siddhartha or the Buddha was from a royal family, it was easier for him to deal with those very high class people in the society those days. So lots of warrior class people, the royal people, and also very powerful businessmen like Anathapindika. They were all very close to the Buddha, and Anathapindika was a very pious disciple of the Buddha. And he offered a beautiful temple called Jetavanarama, Jeta's Grove. And there the Buddha actually lived most of his rains retreat. It is said that he lived out of his 45 rains retreat. Most number of rain retreats were there in Jetavanarama. That was 19 rains retreat, and so many Dhamma talks happened there. It's really important. So these characters are important. Queen Mallika, very pious Buddhist devotee also. King Kosala is a very close friend of the Buddha. And King Bimbisara actually had an unfortunate death because his son inflicted him a lot of pains those days. So he had an unfortunate death, but he was already a Sotapanna person. And all these people were also very pious and very dedicated followers of the Buddha. Okay, I want to come back to this, some of the qualities of the Buddha. One of the leadership quality of the Buddha was his amazing compassion, loving kindness to all sentient beings without any discrimination. So Kisa Gautami's story is a very fascinating one. Kisa Gautami was she had she had one son, and then this girl, this lady, found one day that the son is not walking and playing, and actually the son passed away, but she didn't want to accept that. Mother, her only son, so she kind of got out of her mind, and then she started to believe that her son is not dead, but he is only sick. And then she went from house to house asking people to help her cure her son, but everyone around, they said, no, your son is not alive. He is not alive. He's actually dead, so we can cure him. And So people were kind of making fun of her, and then um, she was kind of insane, and she could not control her emotions, but she was so possessed with the body of this little baby, and she was carrying it away everywhere, asking people, knocking at the doors, um, seeking help to cure her only son. One day, one person actually directed her to the Buddha. He said, "Okay, there is one doctor. If you want to cure your son, you better go to the Buddha. There is a temple close by. Go there, and he would tell you a good medicine." And she actually went there. And then the Buddha already realized immediately that the son was dead. But Buddha's amazing compassion led him to use a different leadership quality. Um, he asked Kisagotami, "I can cure your son if you can bring me a bunch of mustard seed from any house, and make sure that mustard seed should be from a house where no one has passed away." Okay, now Kisagotami was very happy because this is the only time somebody was uh, optimistic about her son, and somebody was giving some hope to her that she would be able to recover her son. Okay, she ran to a nearby house and knocked at the door and asked. When the door was open, she asked, "Sister, please give me some mustard seed from your house. I want to take this mustard seeds to the Buddha because he said he would be able to cure my son." And the lady at the house was very happy. She immediately brought some mustard seeds. And then Kisa Gotami asked, "Did anyone die at this house?" And then the lady said, "Yes, my grandfather passed away." And so then she said, "Oh, then I can accept it. I should find it from another house." And then the lady said sorry, and then Kisa Gotami went to another house, and then they also helped her with some mustard seeds. But wherever she went, she found there was somebody or the other passed away, like grandfather, grandmother, mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, somebody or the other passed away. So she was kind of knocking at all the houses and going from house to house, asking for people and explaining the situation, and then listening to their stories, those people's stories, like people die, everyone had some story like that. So she wouldn't be the only one in the world um, where there is no death. So she finally started opening her eyes. She realized that her son um, is also dead. And then she decided to um, um, feel the smell of the body, already dead body. And then she finally realized, okay, my everyone in the world dies. There are all the people have dead uh, relatives. So my son is also dead. That means the Buddha was not um, he was not ready to give me a wrong answer. I mean, not a sad answer. So he asked me. Um, he used this skill to teach me a lesson. Now I understand. This is the nature of life. Everyone dies. So too my son, he passed away. I had to realize that. I had to accept that. And then she dumped the body and went to the Buddha and asked him to um, allow her to enter. the order. So she became a bhikkhuni as well. And then there is another story called Patachara. And Patachara's story also is really a very sad one. Patachara had two children, and then she and her husband, you can see here, she and her husband, they were walking through the jungle, and then her husband was bitten by a snake and he passed away. He had two children, and then she heard her parents and her brother, they also passed away because the house was caught on fire, and so they all died. And on the one hand, her husband has died, and then on the other, her parents and all also passed away. So she was very upset already, and then she had to cross a river. In order to cross a river, she couldn't, because of the current, strong current, she had to keep one child um, at the bank, on the bank of the river, and then she took the small baby, and then um, when she kept the small baby on the bank, and she was on the way to the take the other son, she saw a hawk, a large giant hawk, snatching away her small baby, and then she was very upset. Then she was yelling, shouting at uh, the hawk, and the other baby who was sitting on the bank, he thought the mom is calling him, and then he jumped to the water, and he was also swept away by the water. So this was very amazingly powerful, intensely dramatic story. And then she had no one in the world. She was all alone. She missed all her family, and then she had nothing to do, nothing to lose. She was like very, very upset. She suffered intensely psychological pains, and uh, her, her, her case was that she was running here and there like insane, and then like when she was running here and there, people were making fun of her, they were pelting stones at her, and then she didn't even have like enough clothes. And somehow one day somebody was leading her to the Buddha, and then she went to the Buddha. And when she went to the Buddha, Buddha called her with compassionate word. He was very kind to her, and then that kindness itself opened her heart, and she could come out of her darkness, misery, and then Buddha taught her with kindness and compassion. And when other people were pelting stones at her and making fun of her and bullying her, the Buddha showed her compassion and loving kindness. So she could see the reality, and then she became a bhikkhuni. Also, she liberated herself. So, Patachara's story also is another case study, a strong evidence of Buddha's compassion and leadership. And this guy, Angulimala, is another person. He was a very smart guy, at the school, and then he was because of his sometime when you are smart in the class and the other people be jealous of you, and then the other students actually they tried to um, bully him, and also they tried to um, complain to his teacher against him, like so many gossips and many things happen, and then somehow the one's favorite student of the teacher, um, because of the jealous students, the teacher was very upset about him, and then he became a monster at the end, because the teacher asked him to give him a necklace of fingers. And so that was how he became a monster. He became a bad guy. He would go to the jungle and start killing people, and then snatching away their fingers and making a necklace. One day his mother, his own mother, was searching for him. She wanted to go in search of her son, although she heard he was a bad guy and everyone was scared of him, and she wanted still to go there and see her son. And that time, one day in the morning, when the Buddha saw in meditation, there is something called every morning. The Buddha's routine starts with every morning he would go to meditation, and then he would scan the world if he could help someone in the world. And then that day he found Angulimala was there, um, about to ripe if he would be given the right direction. And then the Buddha decided, just in case he killed his mother, there is no chance for Angulimala to recover. Because killing a mother, a matricide or patricide, would be unpardonable, uh, bad karma. And then Buddha came in between, and then when Angulimala saw the Buddha, he was running after the Buddha, and then um, Buddha also cured him. And then he became a monk. He left his violence, and he became a very, very kind and compassionate person. So Buddha's dedication, his true practice, and his true compassion, loving kindness, unconditional love, his leadership, all the time helped many, many people in different modes of life. Angulimala's case was also like that. This one is called Putigata Tissathera. Puti is the monk who was having some sickness. Um, Nobody wanted to go closer to him, this monk. And then once Buddha found out about this sick monk, he went there himself and attended himself. He cleaned the whole body of this innocent monk, and then he assembled all the other monks around, and then he admonished them. You can do like that. When some of your fellow monk is sick, you definitely have to take care of him. If someone attends to the sick, he attends to me. Remember that. If someone attends to me, he attends to the sick. Yo gilanang upatahati, so mang upatahati. Yo mang upatahati, so gilanang upatahati. So the Buddha's amazing compassion, his exemplary lifestyle, his leadership always gave so many good things to the world. Ever since, the Buddhist world is committed to take care of the sick people. So 45 years of service to all sentient beings. The Buddha said, go forward without stopping. Do not stop. There were many, many thousands and thousands of followers of the Buddha because of his amazing quality as a wonderful leader with extraordinary leadership qualities, and his compassion and his true wisdom, and also his revolutionary ideas. Like when the other people were rejected, he would not worried about that. He would embrace them. He would show them. And he would have no discrimination towards anyone. He gave ordination to the ladies, where ladies were having a bad time those days, and they were cornered uh, in the society, and the Buddhas gave them the path to liberation. When the low caste people were not given any chance to do something like any social status, and then the Buddha gave them equal status. Buddha, as the Buddhas said that whosoever comes to my order as monks, um, whether they are from higher caste or lower caste or whatever caste, it doesn't matter. Whosoever comes, they would become equal in my order. Just like the four all kinds of rivers from all directions, when they come to the ocean, it tastes the same. So too is my sangha, my community of monks and nuns. They would be regarded, considered equal. This is Buddha's amazing true compassion and true leadership, and towards everyone in the society. So Buddha's advice to the Sangha community, Charata Bhikkhave Charikang Bahujana Hitaya Bahujana Sukhaya. He said, go on a walk, monks, for the benefit of the many, for the happiness of the many. Lokanukampaya Attaya Hitaya Sukhaya Deva Manussanam. Out of compassion for the world, for the welfare, benefit and happiness of gods and men. Ma ekena dve agamita deseta bhikkhave dhamma. Do not let two by go by one way. Teach the Dhamma, monks. Adi kalyanang, majhe kalyanang, pariyosana kalyanang, sathang sabhyanjanang, which is good. The Dhamma which is good in the beginning, good in the middle, good in the end, with its meaning, with its proper phrasing. Kevala paripurnang, parisuddhang, brahmacharyang pakaseta. Explain the spiritual life which is complete, full and pure. So the Buddha's, you see this, his mission was to lead people to liberation, to spiritual liberation. He was not worried about, he was not concerned about those material lifestyle gains. He was always thinking of leading people to liberation. So this is really important. Then he led his monks, all his disciples, to walk from house to house, from path to path, from one city to another. Go walk, meet people, and um, show them the truth. Tell them the truth out of compassion for them. And compassion, dedication, simplicity, humility, they were all such wonderful qualities of the Buddha and the Sangha. So finally at Kusinara, Sala Grove, the Buddha's passing away took place. And at the age of 80, he passed away. And at that time, even at the very end, now you can see here another tree. He passed away under a tree. He was born under a tree. he was enlightened under a tree, and he also passed away under a tree. Very much a common man, very much part of this world, so close to the Mother Earth, so loved by the nature, and he himself loved the nature, and such a simple, such a humble, such a such an extraordinary character with simplicity, humility, and unconditional love and compassion and wisdom. His leadership qualities always are led from the front. He led from the front, and he was guiding them, all the people, all the monks and nuns, all the lay devotees, everyone. He was leading towards the right path. So at the end, this is the last utterance of the Buddha. He says, Atako Bhagava Bhikkhu Amantesi, Handadani Bhikkhave Amantayamivo, Vayadhamma Sankara Appamadena Sampadeta. Ayang Tathagatassa Pachima Vacha. Now the Blessed One advised the bhikkhus, well now bhikkhus, my counsel is, experience is disappointing. It is through vigilance that you succeed. These were the last words for the Tathagata. And then he finally passed away. So this advice, Handadani bhikkave amantayamivo vayadhamma sankhara appamadena sampadeta. Behold, monks, this is my last advice to you. All component things in the world are changeable, they are not lasting. Work hard to gain your own salvation, according to Mahaparinibbana Sutta Dika Nikaya. Okay, so Buddha was passing away at the age of 80. This happened 2,500 years, and ever since, over the 2.5 millennia years in the world, millions and millions of people all over the world were fascinated and helped by that powerful teachings of the Buddha. And all the people, they were really, really very happy about the Buddha's life. So I think that's it for now, and about the life of the Buddha. See you in the next session. Okay, let me know if you have any questions, any concerns, any suggestions. Stay in touch. Okay.